Had a little listen to his podcast, huh?
Dude, it's educational. And besides, I've been wanting to listen to this one.
Welcome to Idling in the Impala, a podcast by and for lovers of supernatural and the fan fiction it inspires. Before we begin, just want to remind you to like, subscribe, follow wherever you listen to us so you don't miss any episodes or bonus stuff that we do. I'm Sandra.
I'm Karlee, and help, we can't stop ranking things, guys. It's becoming a legitimate, serious problem now. So I'm just, because we're so fucking professional and prepared, I know it will be out by the time this episode goes out, but a couple of weeks ago, it'll be a couple of weeks ago for you guys, we released our favourite Sam and Dean incarnations, the Sam and Dean Eras tour, because Sandra is secretly a Swiftie, even if she won't admit it. And at the end of that episode, we said, you know, we should swap lists. We should rank each other's. Like, I should rank Dean's and Sandra should rank Sam's. Because help, we can't stop ranking things, guys. Seriously, it's becoming a problem. We've ranked hair, we've ranked episodes, we've ranked the best of the best and the worst of those episodes. And we've ranked Sam's and Dean's, you know, and we have more ranking episodes planned as well. So I hope you're not bored of us ranking shit. But we traded lists, and then Sandra hid her list from me because apparently I'm 5 and I can't be fucking trusted. But so, all that to say, we haven't seen each other's rankings. We both have like all of the tabs open so we can compare. I can compare my ranking of Dean to Sandra's rankings of Dean's and vice versa. And because it's been literally like a week since we recorded the last one, maybe 2, we remember who went first last time, and it was Sandra with her favourite Deans. So I'm going to go first to keep the trend of Dean being ranked first, basically. Mm-hmm. So you may now enter the Google Doc, Sandra.
Okay, I've got them side by side now. Okay, so I've got them.
Okay, so when Sandra ranked her Deans, she had 22 different incarnations of Dean, and then put a little note at the bottom that went, I missed some. Mm-hmm. So I took into account Sandra's missed Deans, and I will flag them up when they come up.
Okay.
But we're going to go bottom to top, least favorite Dean to favorite Dean. So coming in at number 24 for me is Heaven Dean. It is my absolute least favorite. For contrast, it ranked in 21 on Sandra's list, so we both put it really close to the bottom. Mm-hmm. Heaven Dean, pre-Sam, he's clearly just restless and uncomfortable. It's not quite right with his brother. I hate to see it, you know. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of episodes there's a lot of issues with the final episode that we won't get back into, but it's just, you know, it looks like someone's chopped his arm off. You know, they're so very rarely apart that it glares all the more obvious when they are. Mm-hmm. So pre-Sam Dean in Heaven just made me sad. And then when Sam actually does appear, it's too little too late. But all my goodwill is gone by then. Because by the time Sam does appear, we've had to live Sam's awful fucking life without his brother. You know, and I'm sure it wasn't all awful, but like, it was sad, you know? Yeah. The scene in the garage, if you chop it off so you don't see that wig, the scene in the garage where she just gets into the Impala just hurts my soul. It's too little too late by the time they're reunited. All my goodwill is gone. So gotcha. That's number 24. Number 23 is Amnesiac Dean from the episode regarding Dean. Now, Sandra ranked this as number 7. Mm. We have different feelings. Mm-hmm.
We absolutely do.
I think I made my feelings on this episode pretty clear the last time that we ranked, well, when Sandra was ranking Dean's herself. I have a lot of feelings around loss of memories and forgetting people. So, you know, as much as I can applaud Jensen's incredible acting in this episode, the mirror scene it breaks me. I hate it so much. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to Runaway Dreamer. I'm sorry to Sandra. I'm sorry to everyone that, you know, has a real hard on for Dean forgetting who he is. And, oh, it's cute. He's like a child. No, it's fucking sad is what it is. It's sad, guys. It's sad. I don't like it. Number 22 is what Sandra named these Deans, by the way. I didn't change the names of any of them. So it's Giving Up Dean. And this is kind of towards like the middle of season 15 when he's just done. You know, he just cannot keep up the fight anymore. So Sandra ranked this quite high. Quite low, rather. This was actually Sandra's least favorite Dean. This was 22 on her list.
Yeah.
And for me, it just hurts. You know, he's remained resilient for 15 seasons. No matter what happened, they were going to take it on together. And then he pulls a gun on Sam, in all seriousness. Not that I think there's a jokey way to pull a gun on someone. Don't do that. But,
yeah,
you know, like, he very seriously, his, like, resilience is broken to such a point that he is willing to go to those lengths. And it just hurts. It really does. My 21 is Dean from the Winchesters. So this came in 20 for Sandra, so we're not too far apart. I don't have anything against this Dean. Like, it's, you know, it's fine. It's just a little bit too much, like, self-insert hero for me. You know, he's like he narrates over the episodes, and then he's just, like, you know, comes in at the end with his freaking car and saves the day. And I just, to be honest, I think it's my general dislike of the Winchesters TV show that kind of puts this Dean so low for me.
You feel like there were little bits of the show? Because I feel like when we did watch some of it, like, there were some things that I think we did like about the show. Do you think there's just, like, the other stuff that we don't like just overshadows it now? Because, I mean, I remember some parts of it, like, I think just maybe it's because, like, you kind of felt like you got to be back in the world of the Winchesters, but then they kind of pulled the rug out from under us. Like, but by the way, that's not what you've been watching situation, you know, and it
started out
sleight of hand stuff that I kind of like, they made me anyway. I was trying to put too much thought into a lot of the stuff that was going on, and then it ended up not really mattering. And I think that kind of, like, sours me now looking back at it. But I remember being really excited seeing him.
Yeah, same. I do.
Yeah.
And I'll try not to, I mean, I've already spoiled it by saying that Dean is in the Winchesters. I'll try not to spoil the actual ending completely, but the way it all shook out, I was quite impressed with. Things that had happened that seemed very innocuous at the start of the season became very important at the end of the season. And again, you know, I was not sad to see Dean Winchester on screen again. I was not sad to see Baby on screen again. It just, the Winchesters had lost a lot of my goodwill by the time we got to the end. And unfortunately, the fact that Dean didn't appear till the end kind of lumps him in with that, really. So number 20 is post-Hell Dean. So season 4 Dean.
He's high. He's 8 in mine. Yeah.
He's 8. Can you keep an eye on yours so I don't have to switch back and forth with docs? That's amazing. So yeah, Sandra ranked this Dean 8. And I really struggled making this list because, I mean, stand on me, I'm a Sam mortal. I pay more attention to Sam. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm not sorry at all.
No,
I do pay more attention to Sam. So I actually found it very difficult to not view these incarnations of Dean through the lens of Sam and actually just give Dean the attention, because I'm, you know, so it's like separate Sam from him and not be like, oh, I don't like this Dean because of the effect it has on Sam.
Right. Yeah.
So this was really quite difficult because season 4 is a very Sam Ruby heavy season, and that's kind of the main plot line, and Dean's kind of post-Hell PTSD gets kind of shoved to the side, and Sam is quite cruel about it, but it couldn't have gone any higher than this, because when I take out everything about Sam, he's going through so much shit and it's not even really being given attention, because the focus is on, oh my God, Sam's a junkie, Sam's doing this, Sam's doing that, you know? And this features, and when we rank top acting moments of Jared and Jensen, this scene will certainly be very high for me. One of the most heartbreaking scenes. It's up there with Dean catching Sam's body in All Hell Breaks Loose 1, in Dean crying over Sam's body in All Hell Breaks Loose 2. You know, that Crackle's perfect tear moment of, I wish I couldn't feel a damn thing.
Yeah.
it slays me every time. So as much as I really do enjoy post-hell Dean that tortures Alistair, I can't. He's hurting so bad, and I hate
It's so interesting hearing you say how, like, you know, post-hell Dean is overshadowed by Sam and Ruby. Like, as a person that focus, of course, like how you say, Nike, and your focus is more Sam. Like, I don't get that watching the season.
Oh,
Like,
really?
I don't. I almost feel like I feel like they take turns with focusing on it the way they normally do in Supernatural, with, like, we know, when they try to do plot lines, you know, like crisscrossing over each other and stuff like that. So I didn't get that. I felt like it was more, and I guess maybe if you go into like season 6 and how there's like that mystery going on with Sam, kind of like that mystery with what happened to Dean. And then once it gets sort of like exposed and there's a little bit of focus on that, but then yes, it goes back to what's going on with Sam, with Ruby, what decisions he's making. So I don't necessarily feel that, but I think that's just because of where we're focusing. I think really probably primarily
Yeah.
in
See,
the
like,
episodes and what's going on.
I think maybe it's like, if you, like, you know, when you sum up the seasons really quickly. So like season 3 is Dean after his deal, you know, and the season is very heavy on all the ways they're trying to get Dean out of his deal.
Right.
Well, I view season 4 as the Sam and Ruby season.
Okay.
So maybe it's just in my mind that Dean's kind of stuff gets pushed to the side, but think of like snapshots of each season. So obviously season 4 is Sam and Ruby and the Demon Blood. Season 5 is trying to stop Lucifer. Season 6 is Soulless. You know, 9 is Mark of Cain. Season 10 is Demon Dean. And it's these storylines can only be a few episodes, but that's what sticks in my head.
Okay.
So that's why.
Yeah. Interesting.
But it's that scene just breaks my heart.
Yeah. Absolutely.
My heart. That's next one. I can already hear Sandra laughing. Where did this rank on your list, Sandra? Just before I reveal it.
Well, this is 14. I didn't think you would even include it. Like, I thought you weren't even going to like include it in. I thought you were going to take it out. Say like, nope.
No, I was ranking your Deans.
I know, but still, I thought you were going to be like, no, I refuse.
This made the cut on your list, so no.
I did.
It's number 19 for me. It's Scooby Natural. I fucking hate that episode.
Why
We've gone through it so
like
many times.
Worse down the line.
Because nothing bad happens. I just don't like the episode. You know, like the ones that are lower than this is because it's bad.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I could have swapped this with the Winchesters, but it's irrelevant.
I gotcha.
It's it came in bottom of the pack.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
Number 18 is, and again, Sandra named these. I didn't name these, and she could throw me under the bus for my naming of Sam's as well. It's fine. It's Mary Returns Dean. So where was that for you, Sandra?
Number 4 for me.
Oh my God, it's 18 for me. So I obviously ranked Sam after Mary Returns, but my feelings towards Mary and Dean are different to my feelings towards Mary and Sam, and I don't see the interactions the same. I can see it as a Dean that is happy to have his mum back. I see him as a child craving something, you know. I wouldn't necessarily characterize it as love, because I don't think Dean has, well, you know, overall, I think Dean is secure in his love from Sam, that he's not, you know, and especially by the time we get to this, which is like season 12, I don't think he's doubting Sam's love towards him anymore. So I don't necessarily think it's love, but it's stability, maybe an adultier adult. You know, here is someone that's going to come and take the
care of
burden
everything,
of responsibility from him. Here is an adultier adult that is gonna, you know, she's gonna come in and she's gonna parent him and parent Sam, and maybe Dean can take a breath for 5 minutes. And that's all I can see. I can't see Dean genuinely enthusiastic, like, oh my God, I got my mum back. I just see this little boy
Mm-hmm.
desperate for somebody to come and tell him that it's okay and they've got this. And then she fucking leaves anyway. So fuck her, right?
Yeah.
Don't like
Aw.
this, okay? Don't like it.
Okay.
Number 17 is Mark of Cain Dean.
This is just getting worse.
Where did you rank Mark of Cain Dean?
It was 5. It was 5.
Oh my God. This.
Yeah.
There you go. What is this? My bottom is your top 2.0. I don't have anything against Mark of Cain Dean. I have written enough things that are bloody and violent to say that when the boys are bloody and violent, that is some of my favorite places to be with them. It just went on too long.
Mm.
It dragged on for like a season and a half,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I was bored of it by the end.
Mm-hmm.
I really was. Like, they did some good stuff. Like, I think, like, the sort of like when he's cured from being a demon and then he gets kidnapped by that weird fancy rich family and they're gonna start cutting limbs off him or whatever, and he's like, you won't like it. I'll die and then I'll wake up with black eyes and then you're all gonna be sorry. Like, that was cool. That was cool. It was like this almost the slow burn in season 9. It was like, oh, the Mark of Cain is building. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
So it just went on too long. It lost effect for me. So I can hear Sandra crying over this one.
No, because I kind of see it too, just with like the Mark of Cain stuff too. I feel like season 9 kind of suffered a little bit with too much going on too. So I think like they didn't know when that was going to like take center stage, and it kind of like felt dragging on. Like, what are they doing with this? And then all of a sudden, so I could see that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see your side of it. I'm still gonna my still right tire, but I can see your side of it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. He do look good in Bloodshed. I will fully give you that. He does. So my number 16 is season 3 Demon Dean, which is just one episode, whose name Sandra will provide for you because I
Dream a Little Dream. Yes,
Dream a Little Dream. Where do you rank this one?
18.
Oh, really? Well, at least they made the cut.
Yeah.
It's middle of the road for me. I don't have any real attachment to the episode. I don't even remember the name of it. I remember the scene, and it's middle of the road. It's there mostly for Jensen's acting skill. It's very difficult to act against yourself, you know, and he absolutely fucking nailed it. So, that'll do. Number 15 is Post Purgatory Dean. Where was that one for you, Sandra?
Number 10. Yeah.
Number 10.
But my reasons were just for how hot he is.
See, look, I actually, again, this was another one where I struggled to separate. I struggled to see Dean's actions as just Dean's actions and not through the lens of how they affected Sam. But the thing that stands out to me most is that Dean lies in the church, and that I hate that. And I mean, we could sit and argue until the cows come home. Oh, he really meant it, you know, blah, 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 blah. But like, it's impact versus intent, isn't it? Dean can say, I will never put anything before you, past or present. There's never anything I would put before you, to Sam when Sam is willing to die to close the gate of hell. But he did. It was all over in his actions, you know, and he behaved like that because he was pissed that Sam didn't look for him when he was in purgatory. So his response was to ice Sam out, you know, and replace him. And then to stand there at the end and go, there's nothing I would put in front of you. It's a lie. Whether Dean believes it or not, to Sam's ears, it's a lie. And I tried really hard to separate that and just look at post-purgatory Dean and the trauma bond that must have been forged with Benny, you know, in purgatory. But that was all I could see and all I could think of, that he lied, you know. And I mean, it's middle of the road, so I think this is probably one of the last times that Sam truly abandoned him, I guess, you know, and willfully didn't look for him. So, you know, maybe he's not quite as secure in his love as he is, you know, when Mary comes back later down the line. But I just can't see past that scene. I tried real hard, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, see, it's just so interesting too, because like when we talk about the lying and stuff, like the one thing I just keep going back to too, I think is in season 9, all the time Sam was like, you know, no, I would totally like, I'd let you kill yourself for whatever. And then he's like, the very end, like, I was lying, and he's just like, wait, and and Dean's like, ain't that a bitch? I just, the boys do not know.
No.
Communication is not good. It's just not good.
Yeah. If they could just fucking talk to each other.
Yeah. God. Okay.
So, yeah. Number 14 for me is Dean Smith. I have no real attachment to the episode. He's cute in his own way. I think I've recently found out that the outfit that Dean Smith wears
is a Ken costume.
It's a Ken costume, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't.
Yeah.
I think I probably did play with Barbies, but I definitely didn't play with Ken dolls.
Yeah. And that was number 13 for me. So kind of similar.
Similar. Yeah, we're both just like, it's fine.
Yeah.
He's cute. I like, that fucking shirt is horrendous, but I like the characterization. I like, save it for the health club, pal.
Yeah.
It's cute,
Yeah.
You can't not include it because it is an incarnation of Dean, but I don't have any strong feelings either way about it, really.
Okay.
Number 13, N versus Dean. So again, this is just the one episode, the end in season 5.
Yep. Yeah, mine. I was 16 on that one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rough and Ready Dean. It's cute. I like the scene. When when it's Dean versus Dean, tell me something only I would know. Like, I'm a fan. I've read some fics that feature N versus Dean and regular Dean that have been quite spectacular. But I don't have any real attachment or interest in this episode. It features White Suit Samatha, and you know how I feel about that. So that's it ranked there. Number 12 is Domestic Dean. So early season 16 when he is with Lisa. Where was that for you, Sandra?
17.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like it. Like, don't get me wrong. I like seeing Dean live an apple pie life, but it's so token and hollow that I can't unsee that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's lucky it's this far down.
Yeah.
So, number 11 is Post Demon Deal Dean. So, season 3. Dean, who gives zero fucks, is freaking awesome. Okay. I know that there's a whole lot of angst in that season, but Dean's made his choice and he's resolute in that. And it's Sam that's trying to, figure it out in certain ways. But Dean's just like, no, this is fine. This is my cause. I'll die for it. Doesn't give a fuck. Speeding down the road in the Impala, singing Bon Jovi. That's fucking sweet. That is how I would live my life. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I rated him 9. Yeah.
Similar then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So number 10 for me was Amara Dean, which was, I don't particularly have any strong feelings either way towards the darkness as a big bad or anything like that. But it was interesting to see Dean powerless. It's so very rarely happens, and it was interesting to see him be so resolute in wanting to defeat this villain, but being unable to actually act towards it. And it gave me very similar vibes to, I forget what the episode's called. He had sex with the witch Lydia, and she had the baby Emma, and then Emma came to the motel room and she's like, "Hi, I'm your daughter. I'm here to kill you."
I feel like Dean it was called Slice Girls. I think
that might be it. Yeah. But Dean is frozen, and it is Sam that shoots her, and they draw back to when Dean killed Amy, whatever the fucking hell she was. And it's like sometimes one of us isn't going to be able to do a thing, but that's okay because the other one will do it, But obviously this was a big bad villain that Sam also couldn't take on by himself, but it was just
it's interesting the way you've you labeled it powerless, because I think I was 15 with this, and I was like, seeing Dean confused and enraptured was very interesting, like in that way of not seeing him. So different, like same thread. situation. Yeah.
It was just I thought it was an interesting character study because we so very rarely see the boys in positions where they cannot defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we see them as the underdog quite a lot, but they always have something. But he was literally powerless. He physically could not strike against it, even when he wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, and as Sandra says, you play into like the sort of the arousal and things like that as well. I thought it was really interesting character study.
Yeah.
So number 9, Leviathan Dean. All right, fucking shoot me. I love Leviathan jesters. I fully do. Leviathan Sam, I think, ranked really high on my list. I just really like him. Really sorry. I'm really sorry. And that's from the episode. I think it's Slash Fiction.
Yeah.
No, I just threw out the bar. I just like, you know, in his heart, he really believes this is better than sex. You know, I love it. I love Leviathan Chesters. I fully do.
It was 19 for me.
19, was it really?
Yeah.
Sandra is not attached to Sam's Dom voice, apparently. But we'll see, actually. We'll see, because she's got Leviathan Sam to rank. So, number 8, this one did not feature on Sandra's original list because she forgot. She forgot this Sam existed and this Dean existed until after we'd done the thing. So it's Dean from Rocky's Bar, which is when he is possessed by Michael, and Rocky's Bar, stop me if I'm wrong, Sandra.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. You said Michael, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Rocky's Bar is the kind of dream that Michael has concocted to keep Dean quiet. And, you know, and Pamela's there. And, you know, they're like doing shots, and like every so often Dean gets to leap over the bar and like behead a vampire, and it happens loads of times. And I genuinely never get sick of seeing Jensen leap over a bar.
Yeah, I don't know why I forgot this, because it would have been so high.
Yeah. And I love, as much as, you know, there's all the inherent problems with angel possession, I love that this is Dean's version of normal life. I want this for him. I want him to have a bar that he runs with friends, and, you know, maybe they kill monsters sometimes, and maybe they just palm shots and they're just having a good fucking time, you know?
Yeah.
I want this for Dean.
It's interesting, though, because this is technically like an amnesiac Dean.
No, it isn't. No, it does know a fucking shitty mirror scene. It makes me cry. Shut up. Don't ruin this for me. Don't ruin this for me. Don't ruin this for me. You can't ruin this for me, actually, because this episode features one of my favorite bloopers of all time.
Yes, we know.
So
we are going to do a bloopers episode.
Oh, we are going to do a bloopers episode.
Yes.
And maybe we'll rank the bloopers. Who knows? No, we probably won't. We'll just find like our favorites. But this will certainly be on my list of bloopers. It's one of the best bloopers ever. Number 7, Gimme All the Holidays, Dean. So that's from the season 15 episode Last Holiday with Mrs. Butters and the bunker and things like that. Where did
Number
this
2.
Number 2. That's number 7 for me. Okay. So again, this was another one that I really struggled to take Sam out of the equation because I was like, no, it's sad. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But all of my Sam feelings aside, Dean deserves somebody. Like Mary, fuck her, right? She dipped, right? Mrs. Butters is the mum that boy deserved. She makes his lunch. She does parties and things. She, like, all right, she tried to kill Jack, but that's fucking irrelevant, okay? We're not even thinking about that, right? And that was misadvised. You know, she was doing what she thought was best. We hold no ill will towards Mrs. Butters. She's cute. Dean deserved this. He gets so little, like, actual love and parental care in this way. I want this for him. It's cute. You know, I think of this episode and I always think of the moment at the top of the stairs where Dean claps his hands and Sam's like, what the fuck? I want that happy Dean. Okay? It's nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Lovely. I love that.
Yeah. So number 6 is Michael Dean, which is the start of season 14.
I put this at 11, but I kind of was focusing specifically on like the episode Nihilism, which is in Rocky's Bar, that Rocky's Bar episode. Yeah.
Okay. So I ranked this high, not particularly because I have a massive affinity for Michael Dean, but again, for Jensen's acting. We very rarely get to see Jensen play Dean but not Dean. Jared has played Sam but not Sam lots of times. We usually get Jensen as Dean plus something. So it's still Dean, but he's got the mark of Cain, or he's a demon, or, it's usually just Dean and then a bit more. He doesn't get possessed, he turns into a demon. So I thought this ranked so high because I thought Jensen did such an incredible job of being Dean but not Dean. Michael was an asshole, and I'm fully not here for any of the shit he did. Although he did have good dress sense. You cannot take that away from the man. Cannot take that away from the man.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're talking about Jensen walking down the street in like a suit and I would call it a flat cap. I don't know what you'd call it.
I'll go with whatever you say, because I can't.
You're like, I don't know.
You know how I am with costumes, so I will not even start to figure out how to explain a hat anymore.
Well, I think it's the finale of season 13 actually, and it's Michael, and he's walking down the street and he's wearing a really well tailored suit.
It's like a Peaky Blinders look, right?
Yeah, Peaky Blinders cap, and then his eyes glow blue.
And he wears that again, I think, in the beginning of season 14. I think the first episode, maybe
yeah, but that's kind of the scene I'm thinking of, and it's in much same way as when I was ranking my Sams, and I was saying, Sam Classic and White Suit Samifer and Plaid Samifer and Meg Sam, they were all distinctly different. This was such a great chance for Jensen to give us something Dean but not Dean, and it was so distinctly different, and I wish he'd had a chance to show us more of that, because I mean, without to get too much off track, I think Jensen was probably the most worried. I feel like a lot of us were not necessarily worried, but we were unsure of how Soldier Boy was gonna go. Can not say Jensen is a bad actor, because he categorically is not, but if you've played a character for 15 years, is that going to
typecast, and people expect, and you kind of don't, after a while you're like, can I do something different, and then not even just for one episode, you're not just guest starring on an episode, you're you're gonna have to create a character, and can you do that and sustain that? And so I think it's interesting the way you talk about it. I kind of feel like Jared's done the opposite now. He's focusing just on one character after
which is fine.
all these seasons of Supernatural, where I think, how you mentioned, Jensen maybe didn't get to do a lot of other characters in Supernatural that weren't still somehow very Dean adjacent. I think now he's kind of hopping around and, maybe just trying some other stuff out, just to see. And so it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah.
It's interesting. You mentioned Jared, actually. I read a quote, it wasn't a quote from anybody. It was from Tumblr. I can't attribute somebody whose name you will know to it, but it basically said that people who have anxiety tend to watch the same shows over and over again because they're comfortable. They know what's going to happen. And I feel very attacked by this post because I do that. But I think it's interesting that you mentioned Jared sticking to us, it's not the same kind of role as Sam, but it's consistent. And I wonder if there is an element of Jared's anxiety, not to speculate on Jared's mental health at all, but that he prefers to embody one role and feel like he knows it inside out and backwards, and this is his comfort space. Whereas I think Jensen is maybe well, I've done that, and now I want to jump around, now I want to guest that, now I want to do a movie, now I want to do this kind of TV show and this kind of and just kind of spread his wings. And I wonder if maybe that would have been different if it had been Sam that had always been Sam plus, and Dean that had been Dean but not Dean,
But I also think, like you said, it becomes a comfort, because I think a lot of people or at least a couple people who had worked on Supernatural with Kripke, were kind of don't do that. That's Dean. Kind of also giving him a little bit of a push, you gotta go a little bit more outside the box, which I think is just because, like you said, if you do something over and over and over and over again, by comfort standards, it just becomes this thing, and it's just like your fail safe, and you
Yeah.
know it's gonna work because you've always done it this way before, so like that kind of a thing. So yeah, I'm always so amazed at what actors can do in situations like that. So yeah, and
Yeah.
how much it reflects them.
So my number 5 this is another one that didn't make Sandra's list because she forgot. How very rude.
How do I do this when
I
they're
don't
all
know.
things I would have done high? Because I don't know. I don't know.
It's Atomic Monsters. Just the opening of Atomic Monsters. For real, I don't even remember the rest of that episode. I just remember the fucking opening. And I mean, what can you say about that episode? He's a badass. He's bearded. He's wearing a kick-ass scarf. Like, he directed it.
Yeah.
And he's kicking ass. Like, I'm an enormous, enormous fan of the opening of Atomic Monsters. And I wish I remembered more about the episode, to be fair. But
I know why you don't.
Oh, why don't I remember?
Your favorite person, isn't it?
Who's in Atomic Monsters?
Becky.
That'll fucking do it, yep.
Yeah, that's why.
Yep, that will in fact do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That will do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yep. Good.
Yep.
Okay.
So now we know.
Number 4. So I reordered my top 4 quite a few times because I was like, you can't have those two be together. But you will see they're kind of similar iterations of Dean. But we'll start with number 4. So Sam didn't fucking anything. Sam is a fictional character. Sandra entitled this Baby Dean. And I expanded that interpretation because Sandra meant season 1 Dean, I think. But I expanded that to be the sort of the match to my Sam classic, so Dean classic. So we're talking anything from season 1 up to season 8 when they find the bunker.
Okay.
And very similar to Sam, when he's not being anything else, Dean classic is one of my favorites. If I needed him, or Sam for that matter, to be other all the time, I wouldn't watch the show, would I? That wouldn't, they are Sam and Dean classic more than they are anything else.
Yeah.
And I share the same kind of love between season 1 Dean in John's leather jacket. It's just a little bit too big. And he's not broken and jaded, and he's still like making wisecracks and stuff like that. But he's a baby, Yeah. And I love little baby Dean right the way through to, just before they find the bunker in season 8, season 8 Dean. He's older, he's wiser, he's more jaded. I still miss the leather jacket, but he's, when he's not being anything else, he's one of my favorites. So
yeah.
Where did you rank classic Baby Dean?
Well, classic Baby Dean. So I just really thought season 1, but I made him 3. He was 3 in mine.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my number 3 was Purgatory Dean. Now, I like season 8, as you all know. It's got some of the best hair. But again, I like, as much as I will sit here and tell you that I love Sam and Dean classic, and they're the OGs, and if I didn't love them, I wouldn't watch the show. I fucking really like it when they're dirty and bloody and a mess, okay? And he's so badass. It's also, this features a very favourite blooper of mine. I swear to God, I should rank the seasons by blooper. No, I'm not going to do that. But like, I love everything about Purgatory, like the washed out colors and the like. I don't know if they're like meant to be they're obviously meant to be obsidian, but I don't know if they are obsidian. But they're like some like homemade janky kind of weapons, and Dean gets his from a vampire and things, and he's just so fucking furious, and he builds this the enemy of my enemy is my friend relationship with Benny. It's just fucking cool. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Oh, mine was I was 12 for me. Purgatory Dean.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting. So I went back and forth on these two over who was gonna take the number 1 spot. But number 2 is We Found the Batcave Dean.
Mm.
So season 8 onwards. Again, season 8 onwards when he's not being anything else.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that Sam classic pre-bunker was like my one true love. My one true Harry. Season 8 onwards, Dean is my one true Dean love. Well, I mean, it's not. It's number 2, but that's irrelevant. You can see in this, like, it's just like all the opposites to Sam. You know, Sam never really fully settles to the bunker, and never, you know, it's always just a for now, not home. Whereas Dean fully embraces it, and he thrives with a home base. You know, and you again calling back to mint condition. He's upset when there are people in his space, in his home, which tells you how truly comfortable he is in there. Whereas Sam is like, why wouldn't there be people here? You know? Like, it's very kind of like, yeah, why wouldn't there be? Because Sam never truly settled in the same way Dean did. But yeah, so if, you know, season 2 to 8, classic Sam is my one true Sam love. Season 8 to 15, classic Dean is my one true Dean love. And I think
number one.
This was your number 1, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So my number 1.
Not surprising.
Hold my hands up. All right. Hold my hands up. It's Demon Dean. All right. I know it's on like 3 episodes, right? But there's like almost 50k of fic out there based on this 3 episodes worth of Dean. So clearly left a fucking impression, didn't it?
Oh my
right?
God.
I can't say anything more to you. The biggest thing I've ever written is based around Demon Dean and all the ways that he can be cruel and fucked up that the show just didn't fucking explore. Fuck you, I'm exploring it in Demonic Junkies and I've broken it into smithereens, and now y'all are going, if you could fix this, that would be great. So don't come at me about not fixing it. I'm working on it, okay? But what else could I do? I couldn't put it anywhere other than number 1, because then you would have all gone, well, what about Junkies? And I would have been like, well, what about Junkies? You're very fucking right. So, you know, I think you will notice my second favourite for Sam and Dean were classics. You know, when they're not being anything else, it's this. And in much the same way that if Meg Sam, if that episode had never existed, Sam Classic would have been my number 1. If Demon Dean had never been a thing, We Found the Batcave Dean would have been my number 1. But they were. So, you know, Sam is the hottest he's ever fucking been as Meg Sam. Fight me. And I'm just going to like dump Demonic Junkies in front of you and go, what else could I fucking do?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Number 1, favourite iteration of Dean. Although it's rapidly becoming my less favourite every time I look at that fucking Google Doc and go, oh God, it's Demon Dean. It's, you know, we were robbed of more episodes. We deserved more episodes of Demon Dean, but we got that beautiful gift with the knife out of it, you know? And the murder shirt and the separate hairdo, you know? Like, we all always loved separate Dean hairdo, you know? Not got that many. I'm kidding, I'm teasing. But just again, Jensen so very often got to play Dean plus, but I think he fucking stole the show, Demon Dean. You know, he took that and he ran with it, and it is, while it is Dean plus Demon, it's as close to Dean but not Dean as I think you can get. And I admire the fuck out of Jensen for his acting skills there. But yeah, that's what else can I say?
Yeah, that was number 6 for me. So still high, but not like
not the top.
Not the top. Yeah,
not the top.
5.
So that's
interesting.
That's my Deans ranked against Sandra's Deans.
Oh, okay, well, I guess we need to put myself in front of the firing squad and
and start with Am I going to be big mad?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm hoping not. I don't think you're going to be,
because I don't feel like you were big mad with any of my Dean choices, but you are much less. I don't want to say much less rabid about Dean, because you can be. You're much less inclined to violence, maybe.
Oh God.
Am I allowed to click in this Google Doc now?
Yeah, you are. Oh no.
So dead.
No.
No, I saw your comment at the end of yours.
Oh. All right, hold on. Rude? What's rude? God.
Your comment at the end. Rude. You can open with that. Display your shame.
Okay. So right off the bat, as I had stated in my deans, I had some that I had missed or whatever. Karlee made a point saying, no Scooby Natural Sam, no Winchester Sam. So I couldn't
put a Winchester Sam in there. It wasn't fucking in it.
Well, I didn't.
You could have ranked the Scooby Natural Sam if you'd have really wanted to.
I didn't put a no Winchester Sam in there because there was no Winchester Sam, but I just put no Scooby Natural Sam. If I was allowed to rank this Sam, he would be in the top 10. Easy. He probably would have been around the same point as Scooby Natural Dean, just because I liked seeing them in cartoon form.
Rude. I like the behind the scenes of them doing the voice acting, but that's it.
I know. Okay, so this is already starting off swimmingly. So this is going to be great. All right. So do you want to let me know how they match up in your original?
Yep.
Okay.
So I will cover that side. Okay.
So number 20 is Sam with Amelia. And I just basically put that this was Running Away Sam at his worst, in my opinion. So I was just not having any of that. Great hair. Just wasn't happy.
Nonsense.
None of Sam's nonsense in that.
I ranked this at number 18. So
okay.
Very, very similar.
So number 19 was post Dean Sam. And this is kind of a theme in a lot of what I write. It's pretty basic. Like, I don't like seeing Sam in pain. And even though I know post Dean Sam had tried to show us that, no, there's some sweet moments in his life without Dean, I couldn't get past, I think the scene you keep going back to, him in the Impala, because I think when he was by himself, I think you got to see how much pain he was still in. And I think it was more about him putting up a front and just doing the thing because his brother told him to. And that was really, it's the sacrifice, I think, that you get to see them both make again and again and again in certain situations. And this was just so apparent. And knowing how long it was for Sam, it might have only been like a drive for Dean, but it wasn't for Sam. And that's just very kind of, I guess, reminiscent of Mystery Spot, like all the time, that he was dealing without Dean. And similarly, season 4, not knowing which direction you need to go, but just thinking, put your head down, just do the work kind of situation. So where was he with you?
20. Right at the bottom.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Number 18, I put Stanford Sam. Where was he for you, Karlee?
14 for me.
Okay.
So still pretty close to the bottom.
Yeah. And I put for me, it was knowing he was putting on an act to fit in and be normal. We've had conversations where it's like, you have to try so hard to be normal all the time. And I feel like he was probably doing this all the time, like what he thought normal was, quote unquote. And the fact that I think to fit in and be normal, part of his normality was not having contact with Dean. Just felt wrong. Just felt all sorts of wrong. So it's a very short amount of time that you see it in the pilot, but I think seeing it, but then seeing how he reacts to Dean coming in, just is kind of rattling for him. Like, oh no, I can't have these two things happen at the same time, or they can't bleed into each other, because I don't think he would know what to do with that. And again, I think that's a theme of Sam struggling for a long time too, and Dean, of how can normal coexist with what I do? Like, it's possible. They just don't know how to do it, because they keep thinking normal has to fit into this box. And it doesn't have to. Normal is whatever normal is for you, and being okay with that. And I just don't think he got that for a really long time, just like Dean didn't. So yeah, just wasn't happy with that.
Yep. Number
17, Sam in the mental hospital, end of season 7. Karlee, where did that rank for you?
5.
Again, I don't like seeing Sam in pain.
Oh, but he looked so good doing it though.
But I don't like seeing the struggle for him, and
Yeah.
I know we have seasons where that's a priority or a theme, and I just don't like seeing it. It's just a lot for him, and not a fan.
Not a fan of tired, exhausted,
No.
single layer, sad.
No, the single layer would be fine. It's just we don't seem to get single layer unless he's in pain.
Unless he's fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. No, that's fair. No, that's fair.
Number 16 is Samifer, white suit. What was he for you?
He was 19 for me. He got a better rap with you.
Yeah.
I was like, get out of here.
Yeah, I was just like, I wasn't super wowed by, and I think it was just more like this Lucifer, like this portrayal of Lucifer. He didn't feel as intimidating, as I think he should have. I don't know. I mean, I know people have talked about like, what he was supposed to represent and stuff like that, but he just didn't. He just
too heavy-handed.
He just seemed, this is what I'm showing. This is what I need to show. Like the show just wasn't very convincing, I think.
Yeah.
So
it was, I mean, we've talked about this, and I want to make it clear my dislike of White Suit Samifer is absolutely nothing to do with Jared's acting. I think it was incredible acting, and given the way the show wanted to portray Lucifer, I can only imagine that Jared ticked every single fucking box the director wanted for him. My problem with it is it was too heavy-handed. Oh, it's Lucifer. Oh, he's in a white suit playing with roses. Look, he's the antithesis of what you expect the devil to look like. It was just too cliche for me. And while I can see the direction the show tried to take by having him just be very relaxed and sure that it was always going to end up here, and he didn't need to get angry and he didn't need to fight because it was always going to end in Detroit. It just didn't, I don't know, it just didn't, it just missed the mark a little bit. But again, that is absolutely nothing against Jared's acting. So nobody come for me in the comments saying, oh, you're supposed to be a Sam fan and you don't like White Suit Sam. Just don't, right? Phenomenal acting from Jared. The problem is with the character, not the acting.
And I guess, like, even though, like, I mean, I understand, like, the white suit and stuff. Like, I think right now I'm just kind of like picturing. So, like, are the red roses supposed to, equal, like, the apple, that kind of like tempted Eve or whatever? And like, was it a way to just kind of like lull Dean into this? It's going to be okay. You just have to be willing to go along with it, kind of a situation. And it's just like, I don't know. Like, I think it's just, I'm just so confused as to what they were going for. Like, I mean, I get what they were going for, but it just didn't stick. I almost feel like they could have had him embody all of those things, but still you get to see the conniving underneath, and I didn't get that part of it. But yeah, I guess the self-assuredness and stuff like that. But it was just, it was, I just had a problem with the character. I wasn't getting it. I wasn't getting whatever it was they were trying to get me. Even though it was blatant, I still wasn't getting it. I was not getting the memo. It was not working.
The metaphor is right here, but unfortunately, it's not connecting. I see what you're going for, but it's not reaching me, fam.
It wasn't landing. It wasn't landing at all for me. So yeah. No, but you are right. I mean, Jared did a great job, I think, with what he was tasked to do. I just still didn't get it. It's just like, I just, no, like, it almost felt like, what was the point of the scene to an extent? Like, I get what they were doing for the whole episode, but there felt like there should have been more.
Just something, just
more
something
to that scene.
Yeah. The only, like, not the only reason that I bring up Jared's acting, because I will fight me if you have negative things to say about Jared Padalecki as an actor. Seriously, let's have a chat. It's just because I'd seen various thousands of con clips floating around, but it was Jensen talking about how he thought he'd really fucking nailed that scene as Dean, and then watching it back and seeing Sam as White Suit Samofer and being like, Jesus fuck, I might as well not even be there. You know?
Yeah.
And that was his attitude towards that scene, which was like, I busted ass and I thought I'd done a really fucking kick-ass job.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw my brother and I was like, Jesus Christ, you know?
Yeah.
And like Jensen was coming at this from like, you know, like I called him immediately and told him what a good job he'd done, and like very much making it clear that there's no rivalry between them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people steal a scene and that's totally fine,
mm-hmm.
which is how Jensen interpreted Jared in that scene. But
Mm-hmm.
just, I will never have it out there that just because I dislike a version of Sam or a scene with Sam in, it is never to do with Jared's acting, ever.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm just got to put that out there.
Yeah. You could try and see if it goes over well. You could see if they get the memo when they listen to it. So number 15 is Lucifer Sam, start of season 7. I don't like seeing Sam in pain. Where
this is the third time,
it?
and I'm gonna stop letting you say this after this. You have to give more than that.
So Lucifer, start of season 7, I just didn't like seeing him so lost. It gets to the battling thing again, like the struggle to appear normal, you know, but then not being able to keep it under wraps for very long. I know he like struggles. He doesn't want to be babied, you know, and then that's like Dean's go-to and stuff like that. But then, yeah, the scene where he's just like, you know, in the warehouse, he doesn't know what to do. And he doesn't even think, I think that Dean can help him. He's just like, I just need to get rid of it. I just need to get rid of it. He's at the end of his rope. I guess I don't like seeing him in pain and at the end of his rope and not seeing that there's any other possibility or solution. So where was he for you?
He was 11 for me.
Okay.
So not too much different.
Okay. It's 14. I also have another. I do not like seeing Sam in pain in this. It's 3 Sams in his mind at the end of season 6. I thought the acting was great.
I've mixed that up. Sorry. Lucifer Sam at the start of season 7 was 8 for me.
Okay.
3 Sams in his mind at the end of season 6 was 11 for me.
Okay. And that was I liked seeing him act against himself, because I think I've seen him do that in season 5 in Swan Song when, you know, not necessarily against himself, but like there's 2 versions of Sam in the same. There's two Sams in the scene. There's Sam and there's Lucifer, and Jared, you know, playing obviously Lucifer and then just playing Sam. This one, it's all these different parts of Sam that are trying to come back together again. You know, it's like, do you want to take me in or not? Or no, I just want to be the only one in charge. So I do like the scenes, but I think you commented on the one where he's just totally like, he's the wrecked Sam that's been in the cage. That's the one I hate seeing the most, because he's like, you don't want this. You don't want this. Yeah. And just thinking about what that entailed. And we've talked about what's hinted at as, you know, what's happened to him in the cage, and to know that he's had to, I guess, reabsorb all of that, you know, in sort of like the blink of an eye, and what that could be doing to him. Again, Lucifer Sam is what we got, you know, at the start of season 7. So yeah, but no, I thought the acting, I really like the forest scene. I think it's when it's Sam, you know, who's still kind of sort of like the walls breaking. And I feel like it's soulless Sam in that scene with him in the forest. I really like that. I like that scene, and their back and forth. It's kind of reminiscent of Dean and the demon deal in Dream a Little Dream. Like, I kind of feel like it's very opposing parts that they're facing off against. So yeah, I like the scene. I don't like how much pain, you know, that this one part of him has had to deal with, and what that's then going to do to Sam when he gets him all back in. So maybe it has to do with knowing what happens too after that, you know. But then we've got 13 Samifer in Stull Cemetery.
which
Where
weirdly is 13 for me as well.
I think a lot of this has to do with Sherrod's amazing. This is one of my all-time favorite, I think, acting moments for him. And it covers, I think, the Skull Cemetery scene from sort of start to finish. You know, when he's first trying to make amends with his brother. So with his brother Adam. So this is him as Lucifer.
Michael and Lucifer.
To then beating another brother to a pulp, you know, which what ends up, you know, Lucifer is doing to Dean. And you see all the rage and the just dismissiveness and inconsequentiality of Dean in his mind. And then to see it switch back, you know, back to Sam, sort of like in that instant, which is an instant, but the scene gets dragged out into how he comes back to Sam. And then when he says, "I've got him, Dean."
Yeah.
Every time I say that, I get chills in my body because it's just, I just feel, I see that he's battling Lucifer in that moment. There's everything he's got in him, and he's winning, you know, and to me, that sacrificing himself for the good of all mankind, to know, even if he doesn't think it, he's a hero for that, for what he did.
And I think it's worth bearing in mind that this scene takes on, certainly for me as a Sam mortal, a Sam lover, it takes on so much more weight when you remember that, I forget how long season 5 is supposed to take place over, whether it's just a couple of months or whatever. But when you consider that for all that time, he's been told, you can't, you're too weak. You can't do this. You're not strong enough. You know, nobody in that whole time frame ever said to him, yeah, I think you can do this. You've got this. And he still managed to find that strength to take control and save the world. Yeah. So I just think it adds a little bit of extra to that scene, to just think, not only is he battling his own literal demon, but all the voices that tell him he's not good enough as well. So, my baby deserves.
So this is probably going to be one you don't like. So number 12 is Sam After Mary Returns. Where is that for you?
17.
Okay.
For me.
I'm just going to read what I wrote. I know Karlee hates this for how much Sam has to struggle with not knowing how to deal with a mom he never knew that's raised from the dead. I admire how he takes on the adult role of trying to understand why she's leaving to find herself. He handles it much better than Dean and is okay with giving her space. I still hate that she leaves, regardless. So, again, I feel like he does a better job of it than Dean does for a majority of the season.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that just shows, in some ways, how much more well-adjusted Sam is in certain situations, not in everything, but a little more well-adjusted in seeing the adult, which I think I know I have a hard time too, seeing sometimes that how we talk about taking Sam out of the Dean equation and Dean out of the Sam equation, taking Mary as a individual character out of how it affects the boys. Sam was able to do that even better than I think we were. And I think I just think it's admirable for his character.
Don't you think it's sad that he can do that because he has no expectations on Mary, because he's never had a mom?
Right. No, and I understand. And that's sad. No, I know that. But I'm saying it's also, he's doing the thing he needs to do, you know, and Dean's just like, no, I'm going to mope. I'm going to be the baby that's like, Mom, why'd you leave? You know? And
yeah, well, I think Dean earned that too. I think he earned that mope. Thank you very much.
He did. He did earn the mope. Yes.
So if we're moving on to number 11, we got to have a chat.
So I put Leviathan, Sam. I put hate the character.
Number 11.
Love the acting. And you have him
number 4.
Okay. I just didn't get a lot, even with Leviathan Dean. Maybe it's because in my mind, I'm just thinking, but it's not really Sam. You know what I mean? it's like not really Sam stating those
Don't ruin
lines
this
and
for
doing
me.
those things. So that's I think what it was for me too.
Don't ruin this for me.
Well, I'm
Don't ruin this for
sorry.
me.
That was my ranking was 11. And that's why you're not going to like the next one either.
Big mad about the next one.
Because it's the number 10, it's Meg Sam. And again, where is he, Karlee, in yours?
Number 1.
Yeah. So again,
Big mad.
it's Jared doing an incredible job with the character of a demon overtaking Sam to do all of these horrible things.
He's so hot doing that.
I understand. Look, I ranked Deans for hotness that didn't need to be ranked as high as they were ranked. So I get it. For me, I did not like the character. I didn't like what he did to Joe.
No, I didn't like what he did either, but he's so hot doing it.
I did like, how he was talking to Dean, like all of those things. Like but again, Jared did a great job with it. I just don't like the character.
Hot.
So hot.
Doing it.
Karlee will conclude. So hot. So hot.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to like this one either. I'm just going to get in trouble.
I can see why you have reached this conclusion.
Okay. So number 9 is Last Holiday, Sam. And yours?
16. Mm-hmm.
So I wrote, even with all the grump and out of placeness, because he just feels so out of place. I like seeing him showered with deserved attention and not knowing what to do with it. He's like a lost little puppy. He just doesn't know. He's like, why am I getting all these things? Like he's so clumsy at normal. And I really think that's true. Like if you really look at him, like, I don't know if Dean's necessarily like clumsy at pretending to be normal. I kind of feel like he almost maybe does it a little bit easier than Sam does sometimes. So seeing Sam be very clumsy at like normal things like a birthday and different stuff, like just being, I just think it's cute. It's kind of cute to watch. It really is cute. It's cute to watch.
And that's completely the opposite of mine, because I'm like, he should know these things. It's so unfair that he doesn't know.
Yes, it is. It's definitely unfair. But then again, I was trying to but he's being given the chance to try to enjoy it, and he still doesn't.
But he looks uncomfortable. He doesn't look like he's having a good time.
He looks out of place. He does. He looks out of place, Again, I was looking at like his reactions of like, even when like, I don't know, Mrs. Butters is going, so you're out on a date. It's almost like I want to see what the date was like with Eileen, because I feel like it would have been just as out of place. Like he wouldn't kind of know what to do. And I feel like Eileen would be like helping him, like with the dates, because you kind of see that a little bit in season 15, like when they're together too, like Eileen and Sam, like you still see the out of placeness, but him trying. So the effort in trying Sam, like that's what I give. That's like, I appreciate that he still tries, at times he makes the effort, even though he's like, oh my God, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So it's cute. Yeah, right. I just think it's cute. So number 8 is Gadriel Sam. And where was he for you?
10.
Okay. Again, Jared, just, I will, every time I watch this season with Ted, I'm like, look at that. Like there's a scene with him in the car with Dean where he switches.
Yes.
Then there's a scene with him in the bunker where he switches. And I'm just like, that is amazing. There's literally no Sam in there in like a split second.
Everything, the way he holds himself, his posture, like he pulls
everything changes, and then he does it again, and he'll go back and forth. And I'm just like, and I love it when they hold on the shot. Like I love when the director trusts the actor enough that he can do the thing he needs to do in just that moment. I think we talk a lot about like Jensen's like micro expressions, and Jared doesn't necessarily, I think, have the micro as much as Jensen does, when Jared's acting, but there's still this ability to transform in a different way. He uses all of himself, where I think sometimes Jensen uses just these little details that come across like a billboard sign, like in a way. So their acting is great, but in such different ways. I think that's needs to be appreciated, I think, more. But yeah, I'm always blown away on those little moments with him, especially when he's like sometimes like totally Gadriel, like at the start of a scene, and you just like you could see it right away, like before he even says anything. You just know it's not the same. It's not Sam. That it's really great. It's really great. The next one probably will be contentious. Number 7 is Chief Leader Sam. Where are you
15.
at?
15 for me.
So I tried to take it as, again, I was really trying to focus on Sam. Like I liked seeing him step out of Dean's shadow, even if I hated why he had to do it and what he had to go through in that position. So I feel like he was, okay, what do I do if I absolutely have to do this thing without my brother? How do I do this? And I kind of liked when he took, I think it's like in the first episode of season 14. I hated the character. The guy that was trying to do he was going to be like the new Crowley or whatever. I hated that character.
There will be the scene in the bar. There will be no new king of hell.
Yeah. He's like, or you've got to go through, you've got to go through me first or something like that. Like I liked that.
Yeah.
That assuredness in him that it was not going to happen, not on his watch. That's like something that I feel like too, he probably channeled that like Dean would be like, no, there's no way in hell you're going to do this. I'm not going to stand idly by and let that happen. But again, it was through all of the not knowing where his brother was and stuff. So I get that. I know that he was in pain. I know that he was feeling lost, but I was just like, I was proud of him. So, I was proud of him for doing the thing. Yeah. Okay. So at least I'm making my cases with some of these. I know it's not going to work with all of them, but some of them is working.
I think you might be past the ones where I was like, you fucking what? Which is Leviathan and Meg. I think you're okay now. I think you're okay now.
So number 6 was Soulless Sam.
Number 3.
Okay.
So I'm glad he ranked so high.
Yeah.
Absolute angel that he is.
So I think for me too, like, and again, I'm in the season 6 rewatch right now, and I'm really appreciating more of what Jared had to do to strip away so much of what we knew of a character, and then making us be like, what the fuck is going on with him? Like, and making it so, for me, I was so off with the season start. Like, why is he like, because it wasn't always like immediate. Like, it was like, why?
No, it wasn't. He was just a bit weird.
Why is he doing that? Like I was gone with him, like the vampire episode with that like smirk when I was like, whoa, I'm like, there is something so very wrong with the situation, like screaming at him, like, why the fuck are you smirking about that? Like, what is going on with you? And that was just made it very fascinating and funny, because I think they kind of do like clap your hands if you believe. They give you a chance to just experience the lighter side of Sam without a soul, where it's not like the most extreme high stakes situation. It's just kind of like a run of the mill, quote unquote, monster of the week, but exploring that part of him more is just really, good. It's just really good. Again, I know we have a lot of problems with season 6 in general. There are the little gems and stuff that kind of, poke out. And I think Soulless Sam, the way he's explored was just interesting. It just I enjoy it more on my rewatches now than I did the first time. Yeah, so it's number 6. So 5 is Post Bunker Sam. So I have a couple reasons for this. And where is he in your list?
12.
Number 12. So I liked.
But you make very valid points. I will give you that.
I like seeing Sam embrace his Men of Letters origin and kind of how it contrasts and complements the hunter, the Dean part. So
Yeah.
I liked seeing him just like you can't say he's at home in the bunker, but he's at home in the library. He's at home with the lore. He's at home with all of those aspects that makes him the Men of Letters, I think, part of the equation. Even if he doesn't think of it as home, those parts are very familiar for him and he's got them at his disposal, like right there, like all the time. He doesn't have to go to a library anymore. He's got the library here. He's got all of those things. And I like seeing him play with magic and spells. I think you do see a lot more of that. Post Bunker Sam, I kind of call it's his inner warlock, that I really feel would have been nurtured under Rowena more and probably was in ways that we didn't get to see because, she does end up leaving him, her things, her magic, her spells. And I don't think she would have done that with just anyone. So I think she saw a potential in him that I wish we saw more of, but I know it's there in Post Bunker Sam. And
Sam Wiener.
Yeah.
Down with the ship.
I feel like the bunker, I'm sure the bunker was instituted for a lot of reasons for the show, just because we can't keep doing,
we can't keep doing motels, guys.
We can't keep doing motels. Like if we're going to have they need a place where we can probably just make it easier to direct episodes, they've got this spot that's just easier. But I like how it became this place for Dean that he just absolutely adored. And I think for Sam became this very functional place that then benefited his growth in a way. That was great. And he is sad to leave it, at the end, but you could tell that, and I think he's come to realize that it does, even if he's grumps about it, I think, and he may not admit it. I think that it does feel a little bit more like home towards the end, and I think that has a lot to do with Dean, Dean making it a home for him too. So, but yeah. Okay. So I've got number 4. I've got Sam Wesson from season 4. It's a Terrible Life. And I was surprised by this one when I was really ranking them.
I'm surprised.
This was kind of, I think, the one that kind of because where did you rank him?
It's 9 for me.
Okay. And I kind of I love seeing how bored he is with normal life, because when you think about all of something he'd strived for, going to Stanford, and he finally gets it, with this angel mind wipe, and he totally hates it. That's the thing. It's still Sam. So how when I talk about Amnesiac Dean, if you strip it all away, you get to sort of see more of what they would be like without hunting. But it's he wants it. He craves it. Once he gets a hint of it, he wants to do it. He's full on, and he's having to convince Dean, about how great it would be to hunt monsters. I also do love just how physically out of place he looks in the whole thing. Ted and I were talking about this. Yeah, Ted and I were talking about this. The polo uniform. And then I think Ted was the one that was like, oh my God, look how big he is in that little cubicle. It's the cubicle can't even contain him. And it's so representative about how, he's not meant for whatever he considers normal life. It's blatantly obvious by the physical out of place he is. So I just kind of really like that deep down, Sam really just does want to be a hunter, whether I think he wants to admit it to himself or not. And I liked that. I like that sort of revelation with his character. So yeah. Number 3, Trial Sam. Where was this for you?
This was number 6. And I can tell you I ranked it number 6 because he's so sad and tired. I love it when he's sad and tired. And you've come with a really good, well-reasoned argument as to why it's here. And I'm like, no, he's just sad and tired.
So the more I watched it, this was like his redo of his redemption arc, from what I think he was trying to do in season 4 and, season 5.
Mm-hmm.
He would have gone through with it. I wrote, even though it failed, thanks, Dean. But I put,
Please don't dead Sam.
No,
fucking all right.
No, but like in terms of like
Dean dead.
what he wanted, like what Sam wanted to do, like, and again, I think he was stopped by Dean. He's not manipulated or a pawn in someone else's game this time, the way he was in season 4, season 5. So it's a redo of what I think he was striving for in season 4 with the demon blood. And I think it's very admirable of him. He was going to give all of himself again for the good of mankind. So, yeah, and there is that one scene in the hotel in the, when he's just talking about how unclean he is and like, all that. It's just like, you just see it. But you're right. He's kind of cute when he's just so tired and like just so like I don't necessarily like that he's like in pain, but just like he's so exhausted in some of the episodes. It's kind of cute. It's just kind of cute. But so yeah, Trials Sam is number 3 for me.
Fair.
Number 2, Sam after Jack. Where is that
number
for you?
7. Number 7 for me, and it got inched out by a few of the hotter Sams.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not that I don't love Sam as a parent, but unfortunately there are more places that he was hot. So I got bumped down the list.
Yeah. I think this is kind of indicative of what like the parenting role, if he'd had kids with Jack. And I liked seeing that expressed because it's expressed quite differently, I think, with all the other characters. He wants to see the good in him, in Jack, so badly. And he gives him chances that he wished others had given him. He trusts him to make the right choices. And like you've mentioned before in like season 5, he wasn't given that option. He wasn't given the trust that, he would make the right choice or that he was doing this because it was the right decision. The agency to do that and to let him make the mistake if he had to, but also understanding that there was a part of Jack that he knew was good right off the bat. And again, he was taking that from experience. Even if he beats himself over the head about it, there's so much good in Sam. Same thing with Jack. And
yeah,
Dean can be very stubborn sometimes. And, it's just this it kind of bugs the shit out of me too. Like, because he can be so black and white at times and then very gray. And I'm like, dude, pick. But then Sam will do that too sometimes. So it's just like, I think it's just their thing that, depending on what's going on in a situation, how it's affecting maybe the other brother, they can be very black and white. And it's kind of frustrating. But Sam after Jack and how he parents, I really enjoy seeing that. Yeah.
No, I get it. Like I said, it wasn't for dislike of Sam after Jack. Sam as a pet. There was just hotter episodes that just needed to be ranked higher because they were hot.
I get it. So number 1, I did pre-bunker Sam, classic Sam, and
that's fair. That was number 2 for me.
Yeah,
number 2.
I don't
got edged out by Meg Sam.
Yeah, of course. I don't like the fighting parts with Dean. Like, I don't like any of that. I don't like when they don't agree. I love seeing Sam's smile and playfulness, and I don't think you see that as much when he's older. And I like seeing that lightness, I think, that comes out. It doesn't come out a lot because they're always dealing with some bullshit. But when it does, it's kind of like, I think you call it the sunshine smile. And I don't think Sam gets that as much. Like I think you see it more on Jared. So when you see it on Sam, it's kind of, it's just like, aw, like breath of fresh air. Like, look at him. Like, look at him, like enjoying his time and just like being. And I like that. So, yeah.
No, I have no arguments. I have no arguments on your number 1 because, as I said, if Meg Sam episode had never been created, that would have been my number one as well.
Yeah.
The baby, the boy with the kaleidoscope eyes. I love that you were like, you brought like some really thoughtful things to, you were like, I need to justify the shout of this, or I'm going to get shredded.
Oh, yeah.
And well, I'm not saying you're wrong, because I can't. Because I'm still a little bit mad that Meg Sam is like number 10. Like, come on now. It's the hottest he is, like, ever.
But again, I do the same thing with Dean. So like I've rated him higher just based on hotness that really, I probably shouldn't have done. Like really, like if I was gonna like really like rank correctly. But like, as Sam does for you, the hotness for Dean for me overpowers a lot of situations.
It do. But it's really interesting to see, and I'm sure you feel the same way about my Dean rankings, which unfortunately were not quite as well thought out.
Yes, they
you
were.
kind of like bullet points and shit. It's great.
No,
it's interesting to see someone else's take on something that you maybe feel like really passionate about.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, I hate that, blah, 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 blah. And then someone else, like Sam after Mary, for example, I know how I feel about that. And I know that the way I feel about that is tempered by my life. We're all products of our journey.
Yeah.
And you're coming at it from a different place and you see differently to me. And I mean, I'm not going to change my opinion.
No, but I will say your take on Dean after Mary really like kind of like, oh, maybe I do need to reconsider. So, because no, but I mean, it's the, again, you're seeing beyond the, like me seeing in the moment, wanting him to be happy, but not seeing why, like what the reasons were for it. So, I could still want him to be happy, but maybe in a healthier way, but he's not there yet. And this is where he's at. So let's give him that little one episode of happy before it all goes to hell again in a handbasket. So it's like that kind of a situation. Yeah. No, I agree. It's very interesting because again, I think we're super, like a lot of people are super protective of our characters. And so to see them from someone else's perspective, it's kind of like, but I also think that, you see things that I need to see sometimes, maybe vice versa. I do that for you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
no, absolutely. Absolutely. It's it's interesting to sort of hand off your opinion
baby.
on the
and your
best.
baby's like, here, go do what you want with them.
please bring it back. At least
order them everywhere, any which way you want. Please don't break them. Don't break them in the process situation. Yeah.
But no, I do love seeing, because it's not that you're not as close to the character, but you're not though.
No,
it's not that you don't love Sam or I don't love Dean. It's just, you're not like,
it's not the same way. It's
smushed up against them with your nose hurting. Like, this is my emotional support character.
Yeah.
So it's interesting what comes out from someone who can take that step back and see the bigger perspective. And of course, it's probably a more fair ranking, me ranking Dean and you ranking Sam, because you're not looking at the hotness.
Yeah. Even though Dean,
and I'm not. Well, no, but he wasn't there because he looked hot. He was there because there's a lot of reasons why he was there. But I didn't shove him at the top because he was hot. Like I did.
But I think the hotness had a pretty big.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, if he wasn't as hot as Demon Dean, I probably wouldn't have been as inspired to write Junkies as I was.
Yeah.
So
for all good reasons. Cool, all good reasons. Yeah.
This is cool. So, I mean, let us know what you think of our SWAT rank, I guess. Help us, please. Is there ranking rehab? We might need ranking rehab, guys.
Oh, no, I think they enjoy it. So, but yes, if you want to reach out to us and tell us your thoughts about our rankings, feel free to email us at idlinginttheimpala@gmail.com. You can comment on Spotify and use the Q&A section to share your thoughts. All our contact details are on our website, idlinginttheimpala.com. Go check it out.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, follow, and subscribe wherever you access your podcast, but especially if you are following, watching, listening on YouTube. Likes, comments, subscriptions, all that good stuff really helps the YouTube algorithm. All hail its benevolence. We're at like 77 subscribers at time of recording. Come on, guys. 100 by our birthday, pretty please. Check out the causes that we are championing in the description. If you want a bit of more background on why they are there, you can head over to the website idlingintheimpala.com. There is like a whole new page and stuff. I did it. I'm very proud of it. But if you need help from any of those charities, that is what they are there for. If you can help them, keep helping other people. That would be awesome. And since at time of recording, they've just been updated to include ways to support people who are assisting with the current conflict, Israel, Hamas war conflict, whichever you want to call it, in the Middle East. So we are championing some charities that are out there on the ground, you know, helping out the people that are stuck there. So just take a look. If you can help, amazing. If you need them, that's what they're there for. And with that, we will say thank you for joining us in the backseat, and we will see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.